Welcome to the latest episode of the Federal's Worldly Wise program, where we deconstruct the latest international developments. The arrival of Donald Trump for his second term, as expected, is directly impacting Palestinians. Trump, going by his statement to clear out Palestinians from the bombed out Gaza Strip, is for all practical purposes playing the game on Israel's side. He is pressurizing Egypt and Jordan to open their borders to Palestinians from Gaza. And he says, until the strip is reconstructed. Both nations are reluctant and have said they will not do it. They know that once the Palestinians leave the Gaza Strip, Israel will never allow them to re enter, even after the reconstruction of Gaza. In fact, that appears to have been a main reason or a major reason for the disproportionate level of airstrikes and killings of civilians inflicted by Israel on Gaza for 15 months starting October 2023. Around 47,000 Palestinians, many of them civilians, including women and children, were reportedly killed in the relentless Israeli assault on the Gaza Strip. There were an estimated 2.3 million Palestinians in the Strip when Israel started its campaign of airstrikes in Gaza, dropping bombs and firing missiles at will. Now, an estimated 1.5 million internally displaced, homeless Palestinians are trying to return to their homes and rebuild whatever is left of their lives and families. It is these people that Trump wants Jordan and Egypt to accommodate in their own countries. In the guise of helping the Palestinians, Trump is actually attempting a cleanup of the strip that will eventually be occupied by Jewish settlers, as has happened earlier across the occupied Palestinian territories of West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. What makes it paradoxical is the enabling of a Trump win in the November 2024 presidential elections. One of the biggest blocs that helped him win was the Arab American voters. This, despite knowing fully well that in his first term as president, Trump brazenly backed Israel. Among other things, Trump during the first term shifted the US consulate to Jerusalem, implicitly recognizing Israel's claim to Jerusalem as its capital than over the current capital, Tel Aviv. It evoked widespread condemnation around the world. But Trump was least bothered. He had fulfilled a long term wish of Israel. In the United States, Trump in his first term pushed hard to deprive Palestinians of any international funding with a view to shutting down their voices. A roadmap for peace between Israel and the Palestinians, prepared by his son in law, Jared Kushner, was so blatantly partisan in favor of Israel that it fell flat. But these instances confirm the closeness of Trump and his associates to Israel. After all this, whatever made the Arab American and other pro Palestinian voters in the US to support Trump over his Democratic rival Kamala Harris? Of course, between the two, there was not much of a choice. But during the election campaign, Kamala Harris had come across as a tad more sympathetic to the Palestinians than Trump. However, the anger against former President Joe Biden's unconditional support to Israel, even as the Palestinians in Gaza were being felled, proved to be Biden's undoing. And Kamala Harris said she was involved in all decisions of the Biden government. So the voter realized that she could not differentiate herself from Joe Biden. Not many voted for Trump among the Democratic camp, in the Democratic camp, but many outraged voters with numbers running into an estimated few million apparently invalidated their votes consciously. In effect, this went against Kamala Harris and helped Trump by default. Now that Trump has made an almost unbelievable comeback, Palestinians have to brace themselves, even in occupied West Bank, that is governed notionally by the Palestinian National Council. Mind you, not the Hamas, and it had no role to play in the October 7th attack on Israel. Events in West Bank, in fact, have been overshadowed by the Israeli assault on the Gaza Strip. Since October 2023, when the Hamas stormed Israel, killing over 1,000 people and kidnapping around 250, Israeli forces and Jewish settlers have been targeting Palestinians in the West Bank too. According to media reports, nearly 900 Palestinians have been killed, while around 7,000 injured by attacks from Israeli settlers and the military since October 2023 in the West Bank. Right now, as we do this program, Israeli forces are in the midst of a major operation in Jenin, a prominent West Bank town. While 16 Palestinians have been killed, around 15,000 have been forced out of Jenin. There are no specific reasons for Israeli intimidation and attack on the West Bank, except possibly to terrorize the Palestinian population. Trump's return seems to have energized the radical right wing Jewish settlers who continue to target Palestinians, hoping to see them leave the country. As is the norm in the Israeli occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip, abandoned houses and fields are quickly occupied by Jewish settlers, who then go on to entrench themselves there, backed, of course, by the Israeli military and government. Within just a few days of Trump's inauguration in his second term, if one is witnessing the kind of mayhem experienced by the Palestinians from opportunistic Jewish settlers, it is plainly scary to think what's the fate awaiting them over the next 4 years of Trump's term.